Okay, guys, so let's kind of review a little bit that we've done over the last couple of days. So what I want you to do is we're going to read these scenarios, and I want you to tell me which one of these, which Darwin said had to happen before evolution can occur, fits. Okay, so how about this first one? Female finches found on the Galapagos Islands lay enormous numbers of eggs. Okay, so that would obviously be overproduction of offspring, right? Way too many babies, can't afford to feed them all. All right, how about the next one? These finches compete for a particular species of insect that inhabit the small holes found in the tree bark. What do you think about that one? Excuse me. That would be a struggle, right? If they all want the same insect at the same time, remember we talked about competition. So they're all going to struggle, right? Unless they have something beneficial. So the third one, some finches' beaks are long, some are short. The ones with the longer beaks are better adapted to remove the insect. Well, that sounds like variation to me, right? We're all different. We all have varying skills and abilities and body parts and things like that that are more developed than some others, okay? So that is going to get them the advantage, right? They're going to be able to get the insects. And then because of that, the finches with the long beaks survive and produce greater offspring with long beaks. That's natural selection, okay? Remember, that's different than artificial selection because no man is involved there, okay? All right, then reviewing from yesterday, camouflage, mimicry, or both enables an organism to blend in. If you're just blending in, that's camouflage, okay? Provides protection for an organism by copying the appearance of another species. Mimic is another word for copy, okay? I have to show you guys a video of a mimic octopus, or maybe I'll put that in the link of our previous lesson before you get to it. Okay, the coloration of a flounder that allows the fish to avoid predators. Well, the flounder's not trying to act like anybody, he's trying to blend in. So that would be camouflage. Okay, involves changes to the external appearance of the organism. Well, whether you're camouflaged or you're mimicking, that both involves changes of appearance. So I'm going to put both here. And then a flower that looks like a female bee, well, she's not blending in with the flower, right? She is acting like the flower. So this one would be mimicry. Okay? All right. So guys, I'm not sure if you know much about Darwin or heard of him over time, but like they gave him a really hard time for his beliefs, okay? And it was not like people thought that he didn't believe in God or any of those things. He just had a feeling that all organisms were related somehow. They came from some common ancestor. That's all he tried to prove. He never said we were cousins or relatives of chimps. He just said that we had a common ancestor, okay? He had plenty of proof, right? His fossils, where things lived, the structures that were the same, the structures that we had that we've lost, like the appendix and hip bones and all those kind of things. And then he also looked at embryos. Now, he didn't like the embryos because that was bloody, but you can also see similarities while developing. So he had all this evidence. But guys, evolution takes too long. You know that. It takes millions of years. And it's not like you can just take somebody back in time and say, here, this was what the elephant used to look like. This is the elephant now. See, I told you so. Okay? So it took too long. Now, little did he know that evolution was actually happening in England in the 1800s, right behind his back while he was traveling this ship. Okay, so there is this type of moth. It's called a peppered moth because he actually looks like he's white and somebody sprinkled pepper on him. There's his scientific name there, Biston betullaria. Okay, before the Industrial Revolution, they were white with the black speckles. After the Industrial Revolution, they were black. Okay, so too bad this wasn't discovered until well after he was dead. All right, so birds eat these moths. They're active during the night and they try to stay still during the day. Okay, so think about it. If I'm this colored moth, I would be much better off hiding on this kind of tree. Well, during the Industrial Revolution, yeah, we got coal and we knew how to burn it and we got all this fuel and energy, but it also made a big mess. Soot from the coal burning was on everything. Okay, so the trees ended up being black, and so did the park benches and everything else. It was covered in soot. Okay, so now being this colored moth is not beneficial anymore. Now it's beneficial to be a black one. Okay, so what they think happened is there was some kind of mutation in a few moths, and they ended up being black colored instead of peppered colored, and it ended up being very advantageous because during the Industrial Revolution, we've had a big flip here. Now these guys are switched. They're the ones that are camouflaged and hidden, whereas the other ones are easily seen. They're easy targets. So within 50 years, we went from pretty much all light moths to pretty much all black moths. Okay. Then the funny story is, after a few years, they kind of figured out, hey, all this black soot everywhere is not good for anything. Cause cancer, all kinds of things. They figured they needed to start cleaning it up. So they did. So what color do you think the moths are now? That's right. They're back to the peppered color because being black moth is not an advantage anymore. Okay, so this is the man who recreated these experiments in the 1950s, and you guys are going to play a game with this in just a second. Okay, and here are the moths today. I just wanted to show them to you. So unless this black moth is lucky enough to hide in this particular area right here, he's going to be seen. And this white moth, a peppered one, is actually better off. Okay, so what you're going to do during this game is I'm going to give you this link. Okay, I want you to choose the light forest first, and then what you have to do is eat these moths. Okay, we're going to pretend that there's an equal number of black ones and peppered ones to begin with. Okay, and I don't want you just to pursue those. Well, obviously, if you see them, eat them. Okay, but then you're going to run the simulation. I think it goes for about a minute, and then at the end, it's going to tell you how many black moths and white moths there are. Okay. Then I actually want you to go back and do it again with the black simulation, like the soot is everywhere, and then see what you get, and then answer the questions that go along with it. Okay? All right, so that is our lesson on peppered moths. So it was a really great way to prove that evolution can happen quickly. Unfortunately, Darwin knew absolutely nothing about it. Okay? All right. Let me know if you have any questions, guys.